Hey, pro organizers, it's your podcast host, Melissa. And today I am bringing you one of our inspired organizer members, Michelle Parravani, who is in Atlanta by way of the UK. And Michelle sent me an email and she just said, "Hey, you always talk about these kind of people on your podcast, but I would love for you to talk about the kind of organizer that I am." And I said, "Cool, you're coming on the podcast." I've got a two-parter for you this week. I'm going to put up one part today, and then you're going to get another part on Thursday. We are talking about so many things. We're talking about being single and being an organizer. We are talking about just organizing philosophies. The next episode, we're going to talk about some sustainability in organizing. There's so much in here, but I think you're going to love Michelle like I love Michelle. She is an awesome member of our Inspired Organizer community. And so I am just going to let her tell her story. Thanks for being here today. I hope you're having a great week, organizers. My guest on the podcast today is here. I don't want to say under duress because you came happily, but you sent me an email and you're like, "Hey, you should talk about this sometime on the podcast." And I was like, "Cool, you're going to come on the podcast and talk about it." So it's so nice to meet you. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself,
Yeah.
organizing business, and then we'll get into it?
Yes, I am excited to be here. It is a little bit under duress because I was
Yeah,
kind of, me? I don't know if I can do this, but I put my big girl pants on. I'm like,
I
I can
love
do it.
it. I
I can
appreciate
do
it.
it.
It's good to do
Yep,
things that are scary. That's
yep,
excellent.
yep. I said that to myself. I'm like, this is personal growth.
It
I can
is.
do this. I'm going to do it. And I'm not going to back out 5 minutes beforehand. I'm going to do
It's
this.
I'm definitely not going to fake like I'm sick today and say that I can't join.
So it did cross my mind.
Okay. Well, you're here and you're
I'm
shiny
here.
and you're happy and you're smiling, so
Yeah, I'm here. I'm going to kill my dog, but I'm here.
it's fine. This is real life. I always say this podcast is real life and dogs are often a part of real life, so
Yeah.
it's not a problem.
Well, I got a dog in there, a dog over there, and two cats. So you're going to see one at some point. So,
No problem.
it's totally
So,
fine. It's my life. But so, yeah, so I'm in Atlanta by way of the UK.
I was going to say your voice does not sound like Atlanta, if I may say that.
Yes, people like to guess where I'm from and
Yeah.
almost all the time get it wrong. But
Okay.
yeah, I'm here. Apparently, I have a twang now. So, according
Oh,
to
fantastic. It's like British Southern.
yes,
Interesting.
I'm
Okay.
family almost disown me because I have a twang when I talk. So,
Oh, that's really
I don't have correct grammar anymore. Can I get? It's a big issue.
interesting. Okay, we
Yeah,
should probably explore a little bit more of that, but anyway, continue.
yeah. Okay. So I started the organizing business in 2019. I thought that I had this amazing, brilliant idea that nobody else had ever thought of until a friend of mine said, "So have you heard of the home edit?" And I was like,
Yeah.
"No." I go, "No, what is that?" I thought I had this idea. I thought
Okay.
this was not mine. So I have always kind of worked in house management.
Mhm.
I worked with the same family for a really long time. I was there for about 20 years and
Oh,
it was coming to an end. So it's
that's
a
a
time,
long time.
it's a long time, but I learned a lot along the way. And I decided that I wanted to start something of my own. I didn't really want to work for anywhere else. I don't want to be micromanaged. I don't want to have a quote unquote boss anymore. I want to do my own thing. But I also have never been a millionaire, never had tons of money. So I needed to think of something that had a low overhead that I was good at, which is when I came up with the whole organizing concept and started doing a little bit of research on it. That's when I found Jen.
Yeah.
So that was in the very beginning. And I remember it so clearly. I was sitting in my living room trying to find people like me, see if this was a thing, see if it's something I could do. Jen had just put out her first podcast, I think, and she was literally reading from a piece of paper and
Yeah.
going with bullet points.
Yeah,
Like,
right. Like the fifty ways to start your business for under
yes,
$1,000. Yeah. Yep.
yes. And it spoke to me because it was right where I was in my life. It's what I needed to hear at that time. I can do this. I can do this. There's no overhead. Well, I say no. There's very low overhead. But thought about it some more, decided just to bite the bullet and do it. Sitting at the dog park one day, met another lady from England, and we're both at kind of a crossroads in our lives. So I'm like, I'm thinking about starting this organizing business. I think I'm going to pull the trigger on it. And she was also at a point where her kid was going off to, middle school and didn't really need her as much anymore.
Yeah.
She was kind of working a part-time job, but after chatting for a little bit, we decided to do it together. So it would be my business, I own it, and she'd come on as an independent contractor. And that was how it got started. And we just decided, like, fast friends, had met, known each other about a month, and went into this together, just hit it off. And then, yeah, the rest is history. But I say that it was the beginning of COVID.
Of course it was. So many people started organizing businesses in like
Yeah,
February of 2020.
exactly. We were 2019. So we were just getting up, just getting going, kind of finding our way.
Yeah.
And then had a few clients. It was very sporadic. It was the beginning. So, you're trying to feel it. You're trying to see how to network, see how to market. Everything is brand new. I don't know anything about running a business at this point.
It takes a
You know,
while to get it going. And that's a hard thing for
yeah.
people. You want it to be immediate and it isn't. But
And you
yes,
look back and you just say the things I didn't know.
correct.
Like, I had no idea. I had no idea these things I had to do, the how to charge, how to build it. I did an LLC in the beginning, not realizing you have to pay self-employment taxes on that.
You sure do. Yes.
Learned that the hard way.
Yeah.
So, it's all trial and error, but we've been in business, what, 5 years now, and have gone from that to working. We do a 4-day week. So
Okay.
Monday marketing.
And
And
you
then
still are with the partner, like the woman
yeah,
that you met. So it's the two of you together.
two of us together. Yeah.
Love it.
Now, I do take on some jobs by myself.
Okay.
So, if there are people come up, like yesterday, I had a lady that she just moved into a condo and she's got this guest room packed with boxes, and it's just so overwhelming for her. And it was a one-on-one job. She needed coaching. She didn't want to be overwhelmed by too many people moving fast. It wasn't for a team. It was just for me and her. So I do have a few clients where it's just me. But my partner, Saffron, she doesn't like to do that. She likes to
Okay.
work with me as a team. So I take on those jobs. And then the other ones we do together. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have a partner, but it's it's a little bit of a team, but a little bit on your own. You have a little bit of a hybrid going on.
Yes. And I love it. And she does too.
That's great.
Yeah. Because it gives her flexibility to be at home with her daughter and her husband, where I'm single. So, I mean, I have a fur family, but I don't have those responsibilities. So I have that I can go, even if I want to go on a Saturday morning, I can do that, which is why I
Yeah,
love opening a business, because you get to call those shots.
you do. You get to do
Yeah.
whatever you want to, which for some
Yeah.
people is very difficult. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
was
I
there
love it.
was there anything that you had to adjust to, like when you first started your business, that you were like, wow, I wasn't prepared for this part of entrepreneurship?
Yes. Just how non consistent, you know,
Okay.
the clients, they're not consistent. So when you start your business, you have this idea and you think, oh, yeah, I'll be at this place in a year and I'll have all these clients and I'll be able to give up this job. And oh, no, I had to work 2 jobs
Yeah.
in order to build this company. So I'm still working with the family that I was with.
Okay.
And then another friend of mine, she had started a business where it's like a home assistant kind of business. So it's also flexible hours. So she would fit me in there as well.
Okay.
So while we're building a client base, I'm working 2 other jobs to support myself,
Yeah.
to build the clients,
Yeah.
because I don't have a husband or a partner or somebody financially or emotionally, really,
Right.
to kind of help me along the way and guide me or support me while I'm building. So I had to work 2 other jobs to get us to another place.
Yeah.
That took especially with COVID, that took a good year, if not more, before I could kind of downsize that.
Yeah.
And then, but I tell you, it's funny because I hear you talk about this a lot. You spend a lot of time trying to find these clients, and you're like, where are they coming from? Now we've dried up. They're coming, they're going, there's no consistency here. Then you get into doing the newsletters and the blogs, and you've done those for about 6 months, and all of a sudden, boom, they just come.
It happens. And I've seen it happen so many times. And people who are in a valley don't believe me when I tell them. I swear there will be a day, like there's a start of your business and you're so excited about it. And then you're like, wait a minute, I need to learn how to build a business. And then you start doing the things that we teach you to build a business. And you're like, okay, where is it? And there is just this one magical day where all of the pieces come together, and it's like you can almost imagine a cartoon where like all the spokes in the wheel come together and then the wheel starts spinning, right? But it's hard to wait and be patient, but it does happen. If
And
you
that's
do all the things.
And that's what you always tell us. Be patient. It takes a while for Google to pick up on these things.
It does.
You can't write a blog post and expect the next day to, clients are just going to come flowing, And I think sometimes you run into that with websites. You think you publish your website and it's like, oh, where are they? It's published.
Where are the people?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
I've done all the work and now I'm just waiting for you, not realizing, I gotta do more work.
I have to do more work. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and that is a legitimate part of entrepreneurship that a lot of people aren't prepared for necessarily. And I think being honest about, hey, it's going to take me a while to build this. The example I use all the time is Amazon started out just selling books and they sold them at a loss for many years. I think they might still be selling at a loss, but like you have to start out a big thing with the tiniest things and it's building blocks. That's all it is.
Yes, exactly. And I think it's all in the way you look at it as well. Like you can't be negative and so down on yourself and looking at Instagram, looking at Facebook, and especially in Atlanta because there's such a high level of competition.
Yeah.
Well, no, I don't mean competition, but just other organizers out there.
It is competition. We like to talk about it a little, like we talk in our group as we always say collaboration over competition. But at the end of the day, we do run businesses and there are competing businesses. There are people in our same area doing our same thing. That is competition.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I actually stopped following any of the other organizers near me because it's bad for my mental health. Yeah, it's so bad for my mental health. I took anybody off that was in my jurisdiction. I was like, I think
that is so smart. And I would really encourage other people to do that. I think if I could pick one thing that I could just wave a magic wand and fix in organizers, just the lovely people that I work with, the comparisonitis that we get from social media, even if you just unfollow the people in your area or just mute them, you don't even have to unfollow them, just mute them. You do not have to see them because when you see people in your area, then you start inflating stories about what they're doing, which you don't actually know. I just got off the call with someone who's like, well, I see all these people who are doing all these things. And I'm like, you don't know any details about the things,
No, you don't.
A 30-second snippet. You don't know. So
no, you really don't. And I fell into that and I felt myself, this is not good for me. Yeah. So yeah. I mean, I follow other organizers outside of this area because, I like that and I like networking with them and seeing what they're doing because they're not an immediate threat.
Yeah,
but
right.
But anybody local, no.
And everybody needs to do what works for them. And if you know yourself, I think the most important thing is you know yourself and you go, this is not good for me. It's not good for my mental health. It's not good for my mindset. It's not good for any of these things. Therefore, there's no like Instagram police that is going to be like, you're not following all the other organizers in your area. Why is that? It's really okay.
It is okay. It is okay. Yeah. We have to be okay with it being okay.
Yes, absolutely. So the original thing that you emailed me about, you sort of touched on it and I want to talk about it. So one of the things that I appreciate is when someone comes in and is like, hey, you talk about blah, blah, blah a lot on the podcast, but I haven't heard you talk about this. And you are talking about something that I think is really important because we are not one size fits all. And we want to talk about organizing as a single person. So you are a single person entrepreneur, not having the quote unquote traditional support system, which a ton of people don't. We have hundreds of organizers in Inspired Organizer, all of whom have a very different story. So tell me a little bit about starting an entrepreneurial journey for just not having maybe some of those, traditional safety nets.
Yeah, I mean, well, like I was talking about before, it's hard because you do have to work other jobs because the reality is you have to support yourself.
Yes.
And everything's very expensive at the moment.
It sure is. And it's things like insurance. Insurance is really important.
Yes. Taxes have gone up. Insurance is expensive. Everything is expensive. So yeah, well, like I touched on before, it was a matter of working a couple jobs and trying to stay sane and trying to and just focusing on getting clients and networking with people that are like you. So you always hear the stories of, moms, single moms, married women, people that came from already an entrepreneurial background,
Yep.
or they already made a lot of money and have a lot of money in the bank. There's all these different journeys, and I love every single one of them. So I would just always think, and that comes back actually to my accountability partner that you set me up with, that
Yes.
I don't
I'm
know
a
how
matchmaker. I set people up with accountability partners, and sometimes it works out just
yeah.
like a marriage.
Yeah, she's amazing. And she's just like me. We are the same.
Yeah.
She's single. She comes from a similar kind of background. She keeps me accountable. And you can have done a better job at that, really.
Oh, well,
I
thanks.
don't know how you did that, but you nailed it, because she's awesome. And we text all the time, we talk all the time. So
Oh,
if
good.
anyone's listening that's in IO and is thinking about getting an accountability partner, do it. Because it really keeps you on your toes. Because we've come up with some very creative ways to keep each other accountable.
I love it. And that's important, because I do think that when you, and by the way, I don't care what your family situation is. If you have great support, or if you're single, or if you're a single mom, it doesn't matter. Having someone in organizing that knows what you're going through, you can have the most supportive support system of extended family, dogs, cats, anything you want. I'm sure your dog is very supportive, by the way.
Oh,
But
you can tell, you can hear him. He's
yes,
very
he's
supportive.
very excited about this podcast.
Yeah.
But having someone who is an organizer and is an entrepreneur is a next level of being, because it's hard to explain sometimes, like, hey, this is what happened to me today. And having someone that just gets it,
Yes.
so important.
Well, it is, because like we were talking about before with social media, you see everything and everything is perfect.
Yeah, right.
All the clients are perfect. All the jobs are perfect.
Yes.
They all end up without a thing out of place.
Correct.
Because
Yeah.
everybody knows. But you know, after you've taken those videos, you've taken something and popped it right back in the middle.
It lasts 10 seconds that way.
In that last 10 seconds, or you're saying, oh, take that out for the video, or take that out for the picture, because we can't show that.
100%.
And yes, and when I talk to Bridget, we get to talk about the real life side of it, the finances, the taxes, the not so easy clients, our struggles, basically. And it is like having an organizing husband or wife.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I love it.
Yes. You have an organizing spouse. I always refer to it as, when I started my journey to be a KonMari consultant, to be certified by Marie Kondo, I had a KonMari bestie, and we were like, we were working through our certification together, and, we did a lot of other things together too. And just having that person who gets it immediately. And then also when you have that next level of like, here's my life situation. And by the way, every life situation that someone is in is difficult and challenging in its own way. Being a single woman is challenging in one way, and then being a single mom is challenging in a way, and then being a married mom with small kids, like a mom with small kids has a very different life than I have with older kids. Like, it's just finding someone that is in your same stage of life and business is chef's kiss, and I'm happy that you found that.
Yeah, and I think just being an entrepreneur and being on an entrepreneurial journey can get lonely at sometimes. You can get pretty lonely doing it and trying to figure it out, and you can get down and want to give it up.
Yeah.
Like, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
So you always do need to have someone in your corner that really gets it and understands it. And like you said, husband, they might not even care, or they think what you're doing is crazy. Like, who needs that?
And that's actually a really great point, because not every person that has a partner has a supportive partner.
Exactly.
And so there are benefits to being able to say, I'm single and I get to make all of these choices on my own as to what works for me and just me. Like, in some ways, you have an added benefit of like, I can do this and I have the flexibility to do this the way that I want to, which is lovely.
Absolutely. Well, just like anything, it balances the other way as well. I mean, there's so many pros. You are making your own money, you are finding clients, you are supporting yourself, you are growing and networking. And like, I've done things I never thought I would do. I have bad anxiety, I have panic disorder, I have all those things. You have to kind of turn that off and do the networking, and just, even if you've got to pretend to be someone else, even if you give yourself another name and play a completely different character, which is what I've done. I started going to the BNI groups, which was another thing that Bridget and I were talking about, because she has gotten a lot of clients from that.
Yeah.
So I found my chapter and I went, and I'm not the kind of person that really wants to get up and speak. And I didn't know that I had to. I thought I was just sitting back and watching everybody and just seeing how it all worked. Oh, I didn't know. They called on me to talk about this. Oh, the panic. But I got up and I did it, and I told everybody, and I was confident, and I played this role of a really confident woman, which I am not. And it's great. And I loved it. And it was such a self-achievement to be able to do that. The things you don't think you can do, or that you've lied to yourself about, you tell yourself you can't do them, but you can. Yeah. You get up there and you do it, and you meet people, and then who knows where that leads.
There are a lot of things that I think people don't give themselves credit that they are capable of doing. You might not love it. It might not be, you might not say, I suddenly now want to become a public speaker full time.
Right.
But these things are a lot less scary than we think they are.
Yeah.
And also, a lot of the other people that are doing them are just as scared as we are.
Yeah. Yeah. But they're necessary things to do to grow.
Yes.
And to grow in your business. They're necessary, because you get to a point sometimes where you dry up a little bit, and the clients aren't coming in like they were. And then you have to get creative, and you have to think about things that you need to do in order to get those clients back.
Right.
So let's network, let's get out there, let's go on Eventbrite and see what's coming up, and put yourself out there. And it's not easy, but it's necessary.
It's not easy, but I will also say I've never had a job that people want to talk about more than organizing.
Mm-hmm.
Once you go out there, and by the way, if you're at a BNI group or something, you're probably going to get you get paid for that. You're going to get a little bit of that, right?
Definitely.
Fine. But when you are talking to people who are genuinely interested, they could talk about organizing for hours. And letting more people know that, and talking about that more in a casual setting, not trying to drum up business, not trying that is good for all of us.
Yeah, it's nice. And it's nice because you are the only one in your category there. Like, there's no other organizers there.
Yeah.
You get to really hone in on your business and talk about that, and network. I chose a chapter that had an interior designer, that had a real estate agent, that had all the things that can help me in my business, and I can help them, obviously, in return. Yeah. So you just have to be intentional about what you're doing and work smart in it, I think.
I love that you have stretched, what you feel good doing, and you've learned, oh, it's not that bad. Like, coming on this podcast, it's not that bad.
It's not that bad. Yeah, because I can talk about organizing all day long.
Right.
It's what you do. Yeah.
What are your favorite kinds of clients to serve?
Just anybody that is overwhelmed in their life. Okay. So we've had clients that have run the gamut. And I think over the years, you figure out what you love and what you don't love. I love the people that really need you, and that have so much gratitude when you're done, as opposed to the people that don't really need you, that have tons of money, and it's just a job that needs to get done.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
100%, because those are my people too. And I love that there are people that do all different kinds, but I love leaving a house and getting a hug. It's great.
Oh, me too. Me too. Oh, I love it so much. Because for me, it's the personal aspect. I like connecting with people. I don't want to go in and just do a job. I want to go in and have an effect and make their life easier.
Yeah.
Bring them a little bit of joy, a little bit of peace, whatever I can do for them. So those are my favorite clients. I have two right now. There's ongoing. So one lives in a tiny apartment that is totally overwhelmed by all of her stuff.
Yeah.
And we've just been doing a little piece at a time for as much as she can manage until we get it all done. Now, every time I'm set to go back, I know 2 days ahead of time, I'm going to get a text.
Yeah.
She's got COVID. The AC is out. Every time. And I'm always like, don't worry about me. I can put a mask on. Don't worry about me. I work outside in a garage in Atlanta in the hot sun in 95 degrees. Like, don't worry about me. And then she comes back and she's like, oh, okay, I'm really looking forward to having you back. Because I know she needs me. I know she needs it.
I love plowing through those objections. Like
Yeah,
when you have someone, when you've worked with them long enough that you're like, I know your BS. I
yeah,
know it. I recognize it from 10 miles away, and here's my way around it. And you're like, no, I'm not going to give you the easy out. I'm just not.
exactly. It's
Yeah.
like you've had COVID 10 times.
I was going to say, you've had COVID more times than anyone in the entire United States.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny, I could predict that you were going to get it again.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Interesting. Do you feel like you have the sniffles coming on again? Interesting. I'm coming in 2 days. I'm not shocked by this.
yeah. Don't worry about me. I
Yeah.
got it. I'm fine. I won't get sick. Yeah, every time. But yeah, that's it. It's personal connections for me
Yeah.
all day, every day. Yeah, even on emails, when somebody sends a submission form through,
Yeah.
I don't have automated emails. I make sure that I email them back.
Yeah.
I don't do anything automated. I like to have that personal connection with someone so that they know they're reaching a real human being that does actually care about them
Yeah.
and what they need. Yeah. And like I said, having your own business, you get to make the rules. So if
You
you
do.
need to, if there's somebody that can't quite afford your services and you want to take it down $10, take it down $10 if they really need
Yeah.
you. You
Yeah.
know, I love that. I absolutely love that.
It is very freeing to be able to say, again, sometimes people find the freedom to be a little challenging. I love the freedom to be able to say, you know what? I'd be happy to do this for $60 an hour instead of $100 an hour. I love being able to say, you know what? I don't typically work on a Saturday, but this is important and I'll do it. And I'm equally able to say, sorry, I don't work on Saturday, and just
Absolutely.
stick
Yeah.
with that.
100%, 100%. So we also pride ourselves on being sustainable. So we
Yeah.
do everything we can to keep items out of the landfill. So
Okay.
I've got connections all over the place. So if somebody gives me textiles, there's a place called Scrapland, so I can take wool, I can take
Okay.
textiles. So I like spend my days going around all these different places to keep everything I can from going to the landfill. Now, there are certain people that will have like old cupboards and shelves and they'll have them in their garage and say to me, oh, it's okay. I'll take them to Habitat for Humanity tomorrow. It's okay. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, you won't. You
No,
won't do
you
that.
won't.
So,
No.
no. So I'll go back on a Saturday. I'll pick them up and I'll take them there just because I can. And I'm not going to charge for it because I would just rather that goes to the right place, that it's sit in your garage for another year, you know,
Right.
and you not do anything about it. So I love that I have those options. And if I want to do it, I can.
Yeah.
But the lady that I do it with is totally the opposite when she's done. Her
Yeah.
weekend is her weekend. And that is fine. That is totally fine with me.
Yeah.
She has her weekend and I'll go just putz about and take things where they need to go, you know?
Well, and there are times that I'll, make a reel or, I'll do something for Pro Organizer Studio and I will think to myself, I'm sure there are people that are watching this that would like, I would never do that with my organizing business in 1,000 years. Totally cool. You don't have to do it the way I do it or the way you do it. I'm a little bit more like you. I'll be like, oh, I can take that to electronics recycling for you. But I also really applaud the people that have the boundaries that are like, nope, when my day's over, my day's over. That it's 100% what fills your cup. And for
100%, yeah.
me, it's important to me to be of service to people, sometimes to my own detriment. But yeah, but that feels good to me. And I'm okay doing that until I start to resent it. And when I start to resent it, then it's a me problem.
Definitely. And I can't say no. And I'm quite happy to say no.
Yeah.
There are clients where I know they're just taking advantage. And I'd be like, no,
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that. And then there's other clients where I know this will mean something to them and I'm happy to do it. But if I'm not happy to do it, I won't.
Yeah. I
So
love
there is
that.
a boundary. Yeah, there's definitely a boundary there. Yeah. But again, lifestyle, I'm single. I don't have responsibilities. I don't have kids to take care of. I'm not going to soccer on a Saturday morning. If I
Right.
want to go do that because I have the time to do it, I'll go do it and be perfectly happy doing it for someone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
choosing to spend your time doing things. Other people might be spending their time doing different things. You're choosing to spend your time a little bit more on your business, and that's okay with you. And you still have a full,
Yeah.
nice life outside of that.
Exactly. And I also do things on my own time. So I know some people will structure it Saturday, Sunday, no work. I'm not like that. If I'm sitting down, maybe watching the TV and there's something I can do on my computer and I'm in the mood to do it, then I'll do it. But
Yeah.
I don't structure myself. But other people need that. But I don't need it. Sometimes I'll come home and say, oh, I'm totally tired, I'm not doing anything, and I won't do anything. And that works, and that's healthy for me. But
Those are the
other
best
people are
days.
completely different. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I
Well,
love it.
so one thing that I remember running into, I'm just interested if this happens to you. I have two different things. So one thing, back in my old corporate life, before I was married and had kids, there was definitely, and this always really insulted me. People would be like, well, you don't have anything going on, so you can spend time on this. And I'm like, am I not allowed to have a life just because I don't have to take kids to soccer, like you said? Like, no, I'm also allowed to have a life. Do you have anyone that tries to like do that to you?
Yeah, all the time.
Okay. That's
Yeah,
annoying to me.
it's very annoying. Yes, it's very annoying. I have had people, well, you've got nothing to do, so you
It,
can do it. And I'm like, but I have hobbies and I have things I like to do, and I've got
yeah.
pets, and but then I don't have to explain that to you either. So
No, no, you don't.
yeah,
No,
yeah, I don't actually owe you anything.
no. But I hate that.
I
Hate.
do too. But then if we just want to sit on the couch for 8 hours, is it your business?
It's not. No, it's
No,
not.
no.
Also, that's the luxury of the life that you've chosen too. Because there you have
Yeah,
chosen a life that gives you a lot of freedom, and that freedom can include just watching the traders on Peacock or whatever.
exactly. Watching some junk TV for 8 hours, that's
Yeah,
totally fine. I can
right.
do that if I want to. Yeah.
Yeah,
But then,
that
like
always,
you said, it's about them, isn't it?
yeah,
When they say things like that, it's about
yes.
them. Yeah.
Yes, 100%. So, what do you see as your progression in your business? So, like, do you see being happy kind of with what you're doing, kind of status quo, or
No, I actually would like to niche like
okay,
everybody else. I love closets. I love doing closets.
okay,
I love making overwhelmed, stressed women happy.
love that.
That's what I love. So the amount of closets that we've done where we've gone in, decluttered everything, and made it beautiful for them, and they walk in and cry
Yeah.
because it's the one thing that's actually for them,
Yes.
because they're so used to giving, and their stuff always comes last. And when you go in, even though they're paying you to do it, it means so much to them, especially if you put a little magic touch on there. We had a client a few weeks back that had sand from beaches that she'd gone to, and she had her books, and there was an extra shelf. So Saffron styled it lovely. I don't know how she does bookcase styling, but she does it. I cannot, but she's incredible. She made it gorgeous, and it was so personalized that a client walked in and just burst into tears. And she said, it's the
Oh,
first time someone's done something for me.
yeah.
And I love that. So that got me to thinking, I'd like to create a service where there can be add-ons, and you can pick outfits, you can shop your own closet, pick out some outfits, we can take some pictures, so you can go in and get dressed easily in the morning, we can get a nice rug, you have your coffee machine in here, whatever you want. We can just manipulate your closet just for you,
Yeah.
you know. So I'd like to do something like that, and I'm starting to partner with some different closet companies around here. We've done a lot of alpha systems, put a
Yeah.
lot of alphas in, yeah. But there's a lady that's also local, and she installs closets, and we're going to partner together so we can
Oh, I
make
love that.
a big service, yeah, and try to cater to overwhelmed, stressed women, just to make mornings easier, really, just to go in and instead of looking at your closet and being, oh, I don't know what to wear, and just starting the morning angry and frustrated,
Yes.
just go in there and exhale in a great way.
I know
As opposed to,
exactly what I
you
have
know,
and
I know exactly
exactly,
what I
yes.
have. This is the place I go for a little peace. My kids are downstairs. This is my closet. You can't come in. This is my little sanctuary. And I'm going to start the day in a nice, happy way instead of being frustrated. Yeah.
And I think that's where the magic is. It does not matter whether you are single, married, divorced, kids, no kids. Women are having a hard time. It is hard
Yes.
to be a woman, even in 2024. And I think that being able to offer, no matter where you are in life, to be able to offer women that relief, I think is one of the most important things that organizers do.
Yeah, absolutely. Because women are just wearing all the hats.
All
Now
of the
you
hats.
all of the hats, because it
Yeah.
didn't used to be like that, you
Yes.
know. And that's why I always tell people it's okay to outsource. It's okay. You don't have to do it all. outsourcing somebody to come in and do your laundry and your dishes so that when you come home, you don't have to think about that and you can be with your kids is a great thing. You shouldn't feel bad having to do that, or paying someone to come in and organizing your closet once every 6 months. Do it. It makes you feel good. And that's one less thing to think about.
I
One
know
less thing to
organizers who feel guilty that they have house cleaners or that they do a meal delivery service. And I'm like, well, but we sell our services to people who also are sometimes made to feel guilty about hiring us. And
Yes,
so why would we feel guilty about that for ourselves? We
exactly.
shouldn't.
Definitely. No. And also you can look at it in the way of supporting small business.
Yes. Yes.
Your local small business. Just think about it in that way. They've got a business just like yours and you're supporting that.
Yes. I
So yeah.
This is a total side story. I got really annoyed at my parents one time because they were like, "Oh, your dad's going to paint the house." I go, "That's the worst idea I've ever heard." And I was like, "Also, why would you not support? They live in a small town." I go, "Why would you not support a local small business such as the one that your daughter runs?" Like, I rely on people to support my business. You could really be supporting a small business person and also not having my older father fall off a ladder. Like, this is very simple. Just hire
Exactly.
someone.
Just hire someone. It's
Yeah.
totally fine. I don't know why we get so crazy about it. It's like
Yeah.
hire someone, support local business.
Yes.
Don't feel bad about it.
Yeah. Don't feel bad about it. The other thing that I think about, and that has, I have had people talk to me about this before, is kind of specifically around I am not a mom. I don't have kids. Therefore, my client, like my ideal client shouldn't really be a mom with kids because I don't know what that is like. And I think that's, as I think some Brits would say, poppycock. But
Yep.
tell me a little more about your thoughts on that as a single woman.
I think you're limiting yourself.
Yeah.
If you have tunnel vision over something like that, you're limiting who you meet, you're limiting who you're serving, you're not growing and learning because go take one of those clients on and
Yeah.
you'll see how amazing it is and what you're doing for them.
Yes.
Just branch out and think outside of the box. If you think you only serving one type of client, then like I said, you're limiting your accessibility to all those other people.
Yeah.
And all those people need you just as much. I love working with people with kids. All of them. I'll take anybody that is overwhelmed.
And just because you do not have a specific life experience does not mean that you do not have a tremendous amount of knowledge you can bring
Yes.
to that situation. I just think there's like this idea that we have, or that some people have expressed of like, well, I can't know what that life experience is like. So how can I really organize for them? And the example I've always used is one of my favorite clients is like a 79-year-old elderly retired lawyer. And I'm like, well, I don't know what his life experience is like. I don't know what it's like to be a 79-year-old man. I help him all the time. It's great. Like, and I would argue sometimes people that aren't moms probably have the best ideas of how to organize stuff versus
Mhm.
those of us who are like, oh, I remember when my kids were this age. No, that was 19 years ago. So
Yeah.
what,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I just, I,
Exactly.
I wanted to talk about that because I've heard it enough times that I know it's out there. If I've heard it this many times, I know then it's out there. And I just don't want people, like you said, to limit themselves
Mhm.
on who you should be serving.
Yeah. And ultimately, everybody is looking for the same thing. They just need
Yeah,
help because they're overwhelmed.
totally.
They want you to come in with a fresh set of eyes and look at it in a way they haven't looked at it before and come up
Yeah.
with different ideas. You could say the most simplest thing. You always talk about the shelves in the kitchen
Yes.
with the pins and you can
Yep.
adjust them and people will say, oh, I didn't know you could do that. It's the
Nobody
most
knows that.
Nobody knows that. Even though they are the bane of my existence, because trying to get those pins out of some of them, the plastic
Oh,
ones.
they're terrible. To be clear,
Oh,
it's terrible and I cry when I have to do it, but it
yeah.
is also something that I go, we can move these shelves. We're just going to do it.
We're just going to do it. Oh, we fight about this all the time because I always get that job
Yeah.
because she gets her nails done and I don't. So I
Oh,
always get the job of doing the shelves. So every time we have to do it, I find myself having to do a whole kitchen of
okay.
shelves.
Here's what I want to say as someone with nails. You need to tell her she needs to do them because
Yeah,
these are like rock
I love those.
solid. These
Yeah.
actually help me in my organizing job because I can push those little things in and get the shelves out. So you need to tell your partner She's got to get on their shelves. You got to be equal opportunity on those shelves.
Absolutely, but she won't listen. It's a good excuse for her. I gotta let her have that one.